Hello folks, today is Friday, July 29th, 2022. As usual, my name is Jake Baldino, here to talk about all the video game news that has been going on this week. And it's been a pretty wild week, a lot of rumor stuff, but just some cool stuff overall. So let's just jump in. The first story, the top story, you know we were going to talk about it. We talk about every single freaking little tiny Grand Theft Auto rumor on this show, but this is a pretty substantial one. The newest rumors on the street for Grand Theft Auto 6, the seemingly leaks, if you want to call them that, suggest that a lot of the previous leaks we've been hearing might be true. So this is reported by Jason Schreier at Bloomberg, who does have a track record for getting some things and getting some scoops right. The bigger thing about this report isn't actually the GTA stuff. It's more detailing Rockstar changing their workplace culture after, you guys probably remember, in around 2018, there was a whole big thing about crunch culture at the studio and unhappy employees. Apparently, that has been shored up. But along with that, we know that the next Grand Theft Auto game is possibly, if these rumors are correct, codenamed Project Americas, and the game is going to feature two protagonists, seemingly a man and a woman, in kind of a Bonnie and Clyde style story. It's going to take place in a fictionalized Miami in Florida, which a lot of people assume is going to be Vice City. So seemingly maybe a modern day Vice City. The world is apparently bigger than previous games, which, makes sense. And apparently there are going to be a lot more interiors, and there has also been some inklings in this of an ever-evolving world where new cities and missions are going to be added to essentially flesh out was originally their plan to make like a whole continental thing with multiple cities. Now, hearing that, the always updated, like, evolving world, people just think it's, is it going to be like a live service Grand Theft Auto, an always online Grand Theft Auto, or like one big GTA Online? That stuff worries me. I'd rather traditional expansions. Remember the Grand Theft Auto 4 expansions? I know they didn't really add new areas, but they were really good, and I was happy to pay for those. So if they did that again, yes, but it's 2022. We're very skeptical. Things are a little more slippery these days. So there's that. The report also had a small line suggesting that, some of the satire, some of the humor may be toned down a little bit to reflect current Rockstar culture. People obviously can flip out hearing that. I'm going to judge it when I see it. Grand Theft Auto 5 to me was actually pretty tame, unpopular opinion. Still, that's what we know, and it's in a time where a lot of people are just, overall a little more skeptical of Rockstar after some certain things. Absolutely understandable. A lot of people don't want to hear this stuff until they actually can see the game. I'm just hoping at the end of the day that they can tell a story close to the caliber of Red Dead Redemption 2. You guys know I really, really liked Red Dead 2 and the story, so fingers crossed, man. I don't know, but if you want to read about all this stuff, of course, all the stories I talk about are all going to be linked in the description down below. Also, I have a little bit of a cold, so if I sound like more annoying than usual, sorry. The other thing I'm pretty excited about this week are new PlayStation 5 features. So Sony has actually detailed a beta that is going to be rolling out for certain people for new PS5 software that's going to give some features that we've been wanting for a while. Specifically, 1440 support, dude. 1440, the master resolution, if you ask me. If you play on PC, I think you know what's up. This is going to be good specifically for people who maybe play their PS5 on a monitor. It's just that happy medium, perfect resolution. Of course, the games have to support it, but apparently it's going to be implemented and it's going to work like how changing resolutions and the rest of the display settings already work on PS5, which is tight. Along with that, also folders. They're not specifically called folders, but just a way of organizing your games a bit more efficiently is definitely welcome, and that's coming along with a couple of quality of life updates here and there, little extra features for joining friends and parties and stuff like that. Quality of life things including leaving a game and then starting it up again. The hub is actually going to show you, possibly if the game supports it, like what quest you left off on, which is pretty interesting. So if you want to read up on all those details, like I said, everything's linked. I think this is going to be a good one. I'm very much looking forward to having the 1440 options and organizing my damn stuff. And next up, this episode is brought to you by Nada, nothing. I always do that when we don't have a sponsor. Thank you guys for clicking on sponsors. Thank you for just watching us, showing up. We genuinely appreciate it. I know it's corny that I'm doing this right now, but I think YouTubers don't do it enough. We're grateful for you guys being here. Anyway, the NieR discovery, dude. We got to talk about that. So, oh boy. So the NieR community, for NieR Automata specifically, was pretty blown wide open for the last week or so, thanks to this whole church thing, a seemingly undiscovered door in the game that people have seen videos demonstrate, revealing crazy new unseen stuff in NieR, which seems like maybe it was cut content or like some sort of ARG thing for maybe a new possible game. And it was a huge mystery and people were really excited about it within that community. And now, later this week, it was revealed that it was the work of modders. It's not real. It's not like a hack into a backdoor of the game. It is modders. And interestingly enough, it's from a game that was considered pretty unmoddable for most folks. So they've kind of blown this out, and this was kind of their way of revealing, like, hey, we're going to start putting out open source stuff for people to mod and mess around with NieR. So ultimately, kind of a cool ending. If you still want to consider it anticlimactic, yeah, they did apologize. But yeah, that's where that's at. So definitely read up on that if you were into the first part of the story, because of course the ending or the correction never gets as big a headlines. So here you go. Moving on, another surprise report from Bloomberg earlier this week on a Monday, like Monday or Tuesday. It was terrible to wake up to. The fact that it's seemingly the Knights of the Old Republic remake is on hold indefinitely. According to this report, there's a lot of stuff going on internally, and specifically 2 leads don't work at the company anymore. They were let go. I think it was like one of the lead gameplay designers and lead art person. This was after internally they thought they had a pretty good demo to put together and show to the publishers. They showed it to the publishers. They were pretty excited about it. They thought it was going to be good, and apparently, I guess, it wasn't received so well. So that is an absolute bummer for a game that just has so much potential. If you're a Star Wars fan, you understand the lore implications, but also just on its own, a cool RPG with a very cool story and a cool twist. This thing has been in the headlines for a while now, with people questioning a lot of it, different things. And I don't know. I think it's going to be hard to remake a game like this. It is so special. But for right now, it's probably going to be a long time till we hear more about it. This report suggested at least a couple more years if they figure this boat out, like if they right this ship, you know what I mean? A lot of people think it's going to totally die on the vine, but I think the power of the brand and Star Wars, and this is technically, it's developed by Aspire and another team helping them out, which that team is probably going to take over more now, but also the fact that it is Embracer Group publishing, and I think they would definitely like to still have a Star Wars game in their portfolio, and they have a ton of money, so I expect it to continue in some way, maybe not with Aspire or Asper or however it's spelled weird, depending on how much they're working on the game. But yeah, that's where that's at. I am very curious to hear what you guys think, not necessarily of like the studio drama or the game being paused, but like, do you think KOTOR could be remade in the first place? That's a conversation that I wanted to have when this thing was first announced. So let me know. Next up, we got some brief videos linked in the description down below for you. The first is PSA out this week, is the Multiversus open beta. It is free to download, so free to play. It has all the typical free to play elements, so that's not so great. But I do kind of like the core gameplay. We did a before you buy for it, a brief one. That'll be linked down there. Let me know who your main is. I want to hear it. The other thing we linked in the description down below is the launch trailer for Xenoblade Chronicles 3, which is dropping now, today, Friday, if you're watching it. I have been playing it. I got it a little bit early. We're probably going to try and put out a before you buy this weekend. It's a lot of game, though. But so far, seems like an awesome JRPG. I also really love 2. This is a different direction, of course, expectedly. But yeah, all signs point to good. Oh, and also check this out. This is via the YouTube channel TeaserPlay. This is a look at Bully running in Unreal Engine 5, and it is absolutely insane. Now, clearly, this is a small fan project. Some environments look a little too overdone, too detailed. Some characters look a little wonky, but overall, this shows you what we could have. Man, this is incredible work. I love this shit. Definitely check out the full video, which we will link down in the description below. Give it a like, back that up, because this is pretty sweet. Bully had like the best soundtrack, super underrated, just like the vibe of the whole thing was incredible. So if anything, I just want to replay it for that, and this video reminded me of all that. Also, if you've been keeping up with it, because there has been a steady dribble of news for a long time, PSVR 2. So now we know a lot about it, and this week in the PlayStation blog, we got some details about how the interface is going to work, how the pass-through camera is going to work, how it's going to be able to map your living room, so that way you can have barriers and not bump into your couch. You're going to be able to see it in real time in your VR. If you've been using something like the Quest, you kind of know what's up. So that's all detailed. A couple of other little bits of interface stuff. And interestingly enough, if you are into the Meta Quest stuff, they announced that they are raising the price of it by $100 in August. I want to know what you guys think about this, because obviously their messaging is one thing, but do you think it's like they need to bring in more money? Do you think it's VR just not bringing enough of money and VR just needs more funding? Or do you think it's more of a Facebook thing? Sorry, Meta, because they have a lot of shit going on. If you read tech news, you know what's up. So public service announcement, I guess, if you were thinking about picking one up, the price jacks up in August. So there you go. Also in some cool small news, a leak, a possible report, another rumor, so take it all with a grain of salt. But industry insider Jeff Grubb is suggesting that EA is working on a Black Panther game. Apparently like a big open action adventure Black Panther thing is in the works by a new Seattle studio set up by EA, and that is very interesting because at this point, that doesn't really sound like the type of game that EA would make. License or otherwise. Even if it wasn't a licensed game, like a Marvel property, I wouldn't expect them to develop a cool thing like that. But I think obviously like Wakanda and all that is rife for adventuring and like cool sci-fi shit and just good superhero stuff. So why not? I'm open to it. The cynical person will say, oh yeah, how are they going to put microtransactions in it? But I don't know. It seems like it just started out in development, so we're going to have to wait and see for a long time if this is actually true. But yeah. But really, guys, that's everything going on this week. We got to get back to work. We had to cut this video a little short. I got to keep grinding on Xenoblade Chronicles 3, so let me know what you think about all the stories this week. We talked about a lot, just kind of all over the place stuff. So let me know what you think about the Grand Theft Auto 6 stuff. Are you playing Multiversus? Who's your main? What other types of quality of life features do you want in a new PS5 software update like what we detailed? And then if you're playing on Xbox, I'd love to know what you want fixed over there too. Are you like me? Are you skeptical of just like a remake of KOTOR in general? Just for me, it's like the holy thing. It cannot be touched. But like, do you feel the same way? Let's talk about all this stuff, all this news down in the comments. We'll be down there as much as possible. We always are, despite what people say. But things get a little crazy. So of course, if you want to yell at me directly, find me on Twitter and Instagram at Jake Baldino, my other YouTube channel, and my new podcast I do with my friends. It's called Friends Per Second. That'll be linked in the description down below when the new episode goes live. They usually go live on Friday. But thank you guys for being here. Clicking the like button helps us legitimately. Thank you. That's all you ever got to do. We are always going to be here every Friday backing you up. Just a little news catch up. Have a good weekend. I'm Jake Baldino. See you guys next time. Pizza's on me.